modern day feminism I have an issue with. I think it's everything being so over-sexualized in culture. I think that's a huge thing. And as a woman, you cannot operate like a man. Let's not take this path. You can reverse damage. There's toxicity equal on both sides. So I'm tired of men blaming women and women blaming men.
I'm with you on that completely. Yeah, I had a big problem with alcohol. I don't drink alcohol. I'm a 12-step guy, me with the program, my other dudes, and it's been a life changer for me. It's been a lifesaver for me. No, nobody is perfect, and everybody's got different domains.
I hope young girls will see my content.
Yeah, that's amazing. Emily.
Hi.
Nice to meet you. And so you're on YouTube too?
Oh, yeah.
You are Emily Saves America, and you talk law, politics?
I would say politics and culture.
Politics and culture.
I think culture really shifts the politics and more important things. So I kind of speak on both. I really just speak on experience. I just go into the world every day. I argue with strangers, or I talk to them, get along with them, and then I relay that information to the world.
So what kind of topics when you're talking culture?
So for me, I would say like my most viral videos are usually about feminism, talking about modern day feminism. I gained like 150,000 followers overnight.
Wow.
Like just on a random video. I'm known for my car videos. I drive in my car. I know, very dangerous. Sorry, everybody. And I just randomly say things and then I post them.
Yeah. And so feminism, what's your take on it?
Well, it's modern day feminism I have an issue with. I think this push and divide of men against women is like genuinely one of the most toxic things that's been pushed for a very long time, specifically by the left. This thing that we're equal. Men and women are not equal. We'll never be equal. We have different things that make us special. Sure. And I think this divide of like all men are garbage, all men are inherently predators, and this awful, I think it really started with a lot of the Me Too movement. I think it's extremely toxic. I think we need each other and we need to figure out how we fit into our roles better to get along better and stop trying to be like, I can be like you and you can be like me.
Yeah, there is a lot of that. It seems like there's a lot coming from men too about women.
It's extremely toxic.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm about to talk to one of those toxic men.
Okay.
I mean, you have guys putting OnlyFans girls on and telling them how dumb they are and all these different things. Like, I'm sorry, who is this productive for?
Yeah.
And also, I think it makes you look weak and disgusting to be like, it's okay if I sleep around, I do all these things, and I degrade women. It's like, you are equally the issue as much as these girls are the issue as well. I think it goes both ways.
Where has this come from?
Where's all this come from?
Yeah.
I don't know. I think it's the internet. I think it's everything being so over-sexualized in culture. I think that's a huge thing. I mean, this stems from a lot of different places. I can't necessarily put my finger on every single thing, but I mean, obviously, you know, I think the left and culture wants to like normalize like sex work and all these different things, and they say it's empowering. It's not empowering. It's extremely damaging to women, and I think that's a narrative we need to get out.
Yeah, I think that we're probably going to have a reckoning with that pretty soon. I mean, there's a whole generation of people, and I've seen some of these podcasts that you are talking about. I don't watch a lot of them, but the almost bravado that people have about the things that they're doing. We just saw this one woman sleep with 100 men.
101 men, yeah.
And that is some sort of empowerment.
And it's like one of those things where I'm like, I live in Los Angeles. I'm around the wealthiest people. Money does not make people happy. And as a woman, you cannot operate like a man. Having 101 men inside you, the reason she was crying wasn't because she didn't feel like she satisfied them. That's a lie. It's because you have 101 souls fighting inside your body.
Yeah.
And it hit her like a ton of bricks. And you know what? God bless her. I literally messaged her. I was like, I would love to speak to you respectfully and be like, let's not take this path. You can reverse damage, but also you put yourself in a place where there's a lot of men that would obviously never want to marry someone like you, but I do believe you can have some sort of redemption. But I'm like, you can't do this. This is not natural for women. We don't function that way.
No, and I don't understand why there's been such an urge from women to do almost more of that.
Yeah.
And I'm wondering where that comes from.
This is like deep state stuff to me. I think the whole point in this is take women, put them back into the workforce, which they've done.
Yep.
Which is funny because all these girls are making tons of money and paying taxes and all that. Great. But I think it's to break up the nuclear family. Well, these girls are most likely not going to have tons of husbands and children and all these things.
Yeah.
So then they're not going to get married. So they're just going to be individuals being taxed forever. And then all that money is going onto the dark web somewhere. And I think it's all done by design.
Yeah, and I think that's right. I read something from somebody some time ago that World War II was a big moment where when a lot of this started, all the men were off at war, and so they brought all the women in to work the factories and things, and then after the war, a bunch of men are dead, and so there's a bunch of women who are permanently in the workforce, and then we have this new realignment, like you mentioned. We've got now two taxpayers. We've got a husband and a wife who are both paying taxes, and you've got women who are, from my perspective, living in alignment with a womanly purpose or a womanly body or anything, and trying to become men, and it's like sacrificing their own lives.
Yeah. And also they put money at such a high value, and I'm like, dude, it's not about the money. It's not. And like, you have to sleep with yourself every night, and you have to love yourself and all these things. And I'm like, you cannot do this. Like, we are not men. Maybe a man could do that, but I even think with a man, there's going to be severe mental consequences as well. And obviously there's always physical consequences, but this divide between us, I think they're doing this on purpose, and I'm trying to break that down because I think there's toxicity equal on both sides. So I'm tired of men blaming women and women blaming men.
I'm with you on that completely. Yeah, because there's a lot of that toxic masculinity stuff where women, they're almost talking about them like they're second-class citizens, and they shouldn't have any role in a lot of things.
We don't even need rights, apparently.
Right.
We're useless. All we have to offer is our bodies.
Yeah.
And that's disgusting as well.
And I think that contributes to the problem. So you have a bunch of guys saying women are trash, then women will act like trash, and then they call them trash. And it's like, well,
so there's really no winning.
There's no winning, right? You basically validated what they're doing, by talking about them, and it's a bad cycle.
Be real. They are the one providing the money for these women to do this. If there wasn't men subscribing to these OnlyFans and doing all these things, these women wouldn't be able to do this. So it's like, you have to step back and take responsibility. I mean, I see girls on TikTok that look like they're like 16-year-olds, which is like disgusting.
Yeah.
And they're making like millions a month. And I'm like, I'm sorry, but like, what do you guys expect? You think they're going to walk away from that?
Right. And then you have a couple of those examples. Those people stand out, and a bunch of other women think that they can do that too, right? They're going to get on OnlyFans and put their body on there, and they're going to make millions.
And they make I got into it with a girl in Los Angeles one time, and I was working at a restaurant just trying to get by, which I thought was like noble hard work. And
yeah, it is.
She did OnlyFans for a living, and it was like a struggling artist. And she said something to me, and I was like, the sad thing about you compared to me is like, I might make $15 an hour. You're worth $7.99 a month.
Right.
Your body and like literally your private parts are worth $7.99. And I was like, that's so embarrassing. Like, I can't even imagine being in that position.
Do you think it's a nurture thing? Like they're raised to not place value on their bodies or on their sexuality?
I think it's both. I think we live in a world that's very hard, especially as a female. If you want a certain lifestyle, you want to live places, you want nice things. And most of these girls are chronically online, where all you see is like girls on private jets, Chanel bags, vacations, amazing lives. Like, that's going to be your only way to potentially get that.
Right.
Or I don't know, be with a rich guy who could potentially be abusive. I mean, I just think these girls, if they were smart, would find a good guy who works hard and has a lot of potential, stick with him and build their empires together. And I think I promote, marriage and kids and all those things. And I do think they need a sense of spirituality, not even necessarily specifically religion, just spirituality.
Yeah.
And I think that would be good. And that's why, I try to team up less in politics and more in like health and wellness to try to promote that, because I truly believe at the end of the day, if we are healthy, we are naturally conservative.
Right, because you want to preserve your health and your wellness and not have...
And our country.
Yeah. And I think the family and a lot of these things, it does feel like it's an intentional, structured dismantling.
Everything's intentional. Nothing here is just so happens to be. I believe everything's done by design.
How did you get into this space? How did you start speaking out about this stuff? When did you start speaking out?
Yeah, I would say like right as the pandemic happened.
Yes.
I just started going on rants in my car, and then I lost my job, and then I couldn't get a job because then I put a MAGA hat on and posted that online. And obviously in liberal parts of Los Angeles, that was a death sentence.
Yes.
And I just never stopped speaking out. I just thought at the end of the day, what I was doing was the right thing, and it was worth everything I lost. And, 4 years later, however long it's been, I'm starting to see it was worth it, and I'm very happy with the decisions I made. So.
Yeah. And then tell us more about health and wellness and about how that plays into what you're doing.
Yeah. I just think I really started this journey, and what's really made me go into the conservative route is the more I learn about health and wellness, taking care of myself, not only physically, but spiritually, my relationships around me. And it's funny, the more I do that, the more I naturally do think I become conservative. So I have a lot of I'd say I have feelings on a lot of big topics in the right-wing movement that I'm actually starting to shift my opinions on, which I'm not ready to speak on yet.
Yeah.
But I think when I do, the right will be very happy. I went sober a year ago, and so that's been the best thing that's ever happened to me. I encourage everyone to go sober or not drink, whatever. Have a glass of wine to celebrate a couple times a year, dinner, whatever it is. But wow, that stuff is given to us to keep us low vibration and down.
I had a big problem with alcohol. I don't drink alcohol. I'm a 12-step guy, meet with the program, my other dudes, and it's been a life changer for me. It's been a lifesaver for me.
It really, I tell people, I'm like, go a certain amount of time. The way you see the world, how clear you are. I look at bars and I'm like, these should be banned. These should be illegal.
They're gross.
Genuinely.
Yeah, they're gross. And you almost have a visceral reaction to it once
Yeah.
once it's been out of your body long enough.
Yeah.
For me, my alcohol was when I would drink, it would trigger something that I want more of it.
Yeah.
And then I'd get into this habit. Some people will drink.
Some people can have one and be done.
They'll have one, and
Yeah.
if you've been with people, they're like, "Oh, I'm starting to feel it. I better stop."
Yeah.
I'm like, "No. Like, we're just warming
Yeah.
up, you know." But once you get some space and some distance from it, you really realize
I
it
can't
was
believe
not
it's illegal.
serving you.
Like it literally should be illegal.
Yeah,
it's like nuts to me that is like the most common life destroyer, killer. I mean, car accidents, DUIs. It leads to drugs, and it's like you will be so clear, and then spiritual, God, whatever, Christian, Judaism, whatever it is, like
Yep.
you become like a higher, better version of yourself. And now I look at it, and it's disgusting. People are like, "Oh my God, is it triggering? Are you okay when you're out?" I'm like, "No, I do not want to be around
Yeah,
it. It's very dark energy.
yeah.
I don't like it." But like, I'm not judging.
Right.
I am not judging.
Right.
Go off. Do whatever makes you happy. It's just not for me.
Right. No, I'm with you on that.
Yeah.
And I do hope that, people who are struggling with it maybe hear something in this
Yeah.
and take an initial step on it. But
Yeah,
that's
you're
why.
not alone. That's like everybody.
Yeah, you're right. Sometimes it hits you when you're ready, right? So I was not ready for a long time, and then you got cooked enough, and then suddenly, you realize there's a better path.
Yeah. Sometimes you hit rock bottom, and it's actually the best thing that will ever happen to
It
you.
is.
You just got to let a little time pass before that starts to come to surface.
Yeah, that's amazing. Thank you for
Yeah.
sharing that with us because.
Like, I'm becoming more open about it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, what I found is that there's many of us. There's a ton of us out there.
Yeah.
And I think it's actually trending. I feel like
It
there's
is.
less people drinking, and I
Yeah.
think even youth drinking numbers are coming down.
I'm in Los Angeles, and I love it because everyone's sober.
Yeah.
It's really not normal like anymore in my friend group. None of my girlfriends drink, and they're not sober. They just don't want to drink because we don't want to feel like crap anymore.
Right.
So I'm like, if you see me out at a party and I seem like I'm in a bad mood, I'm probably just tired and sober and don't want to be there, and I
Yeah.
want to be home in bed. So sorry. I'm like,
Yeah,
don't judge me.
I know. That's amazing. So how about role models? I think that part of the problem that I see with relationships
Yeah.
is that there's nobody good to model out there. There's not a lot of like high profile models, right? Even if you look at President Trump, as much as I love President Trump, he's been married a couple times,
Yeah.
right? There's been allegations and stuff like that. And so do you see anybody who's like a pillar of marriage and like a good, healthy relationship, or is that part of the problem?
That's hard because I've never had a good role model my whole life, and besides my father, who's like amazing. It's like one individual. And it's a man. It's harder because I've always wanted a female, but I don't know. I think it's like tough. Like for me, I would say one of the people that got me into like definitely religion, spirituality, and everything was like Dennis Prager.
Yes.
He's probably like number one for me.
He's a sharp man.
He's so brilliant. I
Yeah.
got to speak on a panel where I was next to him, and I like honestly like almost started crying. I can't believe like I was lucky enough to like be sitting
That's
in
so
a room with
great.
him. And I don't know. It just depends. The older I get, I meet more people. But yeah, I mean, role models, it's hard, and no one's perfect.
Yeah, it's
I
interesting.
Kind of find whoever just affects me the most.
Yeah, no, nobody is perfect, and everybody's got different domains. And one of the things that helped trigger my sobriety was President Trump.
Yeah.
When I learned that he didn't drink, I had no
My
idea.
favorite part about him.
I had no idea.
Yeah.
I'm like, wait a minute, this billionaire,
Yeah.
like playboy dude, he doesn't drink
Right, sharp.
alcohol, never had a drink his whole life.
That's why he's sharp and successful.
I thought, whoa, okay. It changed my whole paradigm a little bit, and I started to think about this world of not drinking, and then a few years later, I
Yeah.
started my path, and so it kind of warmed me up to the idea,
Yeah.
right? So like, who else is out there? Like even Hollywood figures and even other celebrities, we don't see many people that
You
you
just don't
look
see-
to.
And especially like people who are like aligned with you spiritually or whatever it is. I don't know. There's honestly not a lot of role models, and especially for young girls. That's why I'm kind of trying to be very open and transparent with my platform and who I am and my past. I think it's very easy. I could totally hide my entire past and act holier than thou, like a lot of people do in the industry.
Yep.
And I'm like, I just rather share this with young girls. So if I could save them from making like any of the mistakes I made or going
Yeah.
down every hard road, or they could see me and relate to me and not feel judged and see me as a role
Yeah.
model, like that would make like all this worth it to me. So I think that's what I'm working on.
That is really important, yeah, because they don't know, right? We all have to learn from the people who are further on the road than we are,
Yeah.
so we don't make those same mistakes.
And it's hard. There's not a lot of females. Like, I mean, the only female I really listened to that I liked getting into politics was really Candace Owens.
Yeah.
But
out to
obviously
Candace.
she's very intimidating because she's so smart. It's almost like you can't even relate to
She
her at
is
all.
intimidating. Yeah,
Yeah.
she is intimidating.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so I want to be like maybe a softer, girly version of that. Like, I don't have a fancy education. I didn't go to college. I'm just a normal girl. I made a lot of mistakes, but you are not your mistakes.
You are not. No, and our mistakes make us,
They
I think,
actually make you who
stronger
you
and
are.
better in people,
Yeah,
right? 'Cause
I
we-
learned everything the hard way, so I'm like, okay, I'm good.
Yeah, totally, right.
I'm
So
good now. I'm done learning.
Right.
I want a vacation.
other people don't have to make those same,
Yeah,
those same
exactly. So
mistakes.
I hope young girls will see my content and
Yeah, that's amazing. And so where can they find you? What's the best place to find you?
you guys can find me literally everywhere Emily Saves America. It's just Instagram Emily Saves America, YouTube, X is Emily Saves USA, everywhere. Just EmilySavesAmerica.com. My socials are on there.
Amazing. And make sure you subscribe to everything, follow everything, share it with your friends and family, because this is important conversations that we need to have. And I don't know why men and women have to be at each other's throats all the time on this stuff.
Well, I'm about to go throat to throat.
Well, go get after it. Represent. Thank you so much for the time. It was really nice to meet you.
Thank you, guys.
Really great to meet you. All right, my friends, Emily Saves America. So go check out her channel. She's on YouTube right next door. She's got a great channel, and she's also on Instagram and all over the place. Emily Saves America. We're glad she's here.